Hi everybody, it's Janis from the Indianola Public Library. Time for crafts today, hooray! We are going to make some friendship bracelets, and you can do this a couple of different ways. A lot of the instructions that I found online had you braiding and over and under and all around and knots, and you know what? It was just too much trouble. So I found an easier one, but they really turn out pretty cool. I've made some samples here. I made this one out of yarn, and you can see it's nice and thick and big, and it's actually, it's kind of pretty. I really like that one. And then this one is made from embroidery floss. It's a lot smaller. It did take me longer because the embroidery floss isn't as thick as the yarn, so it takes longer. But they really turn out pretty. So, a couple of different ways that you can do it. The first thing that you're going to need is your string. So either embroidery floss or yarn. I like to use a couple of different colors. For each of these I used 3. This pink one, it's kind of hard to see because it's so small. But there are 3 different colors in that one, and then black and blue and yellow on this one. So I like to use 3 different colors. I think you could probably use all different colors. You're going to need 7 pieces of it. So if you wanted to do 7 different colors, that would probably work. I kind of like the patterns, so I did 7 of 3 different colors. So altogether there are 7. And then you're going to need a piece of cardboard, just a little square of cardboard. And what you'll do, we need this to be a circle. So what I do is just find a can or a cup or something that's round that fits on your cardboard, and then just draw a circle around it so that you can cut out a circle. Because I got to tell you, I'm not very good at just kind of making up a circle when I'm cutting. So I like to have a pattern on it. So I'm just going to quick cut this off. Okay, so now I have my circle, and now we're going to cut some slits in this circle. So you're going to need 8 slits. So I'm just going to make a line at the top and then come down and make a line at the bottom so that it's kind of, right halfway. And then I'll go halfway between those and draw a couple of lines. And you know what? With the cardboard, you may need some help because it gets kind of hard to cut, so you may need a grown-up to help you with that. Just be aware of that. And then, anyway, so top and bottom, side, side, and then I'm going to go in between each of these so that I end up with 8 that are just about the same distance apart. And then I'm going to use my scissors again, and you don't need to make a very deep cut. It's just maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's not really very, very deep because you don't want to go all the way. You're not trying to cut this thing apart. You're just making some slits in it. Like that. And then, in this part you probably want a grown-up for too, because I didn't have, my hole puncher won't go through the cardboard because cardboard's pretty thick. So I'm going to use the scissors, but you do want to be super duper 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 careful with this. Probably have a grown-up help you. I am poking a hole right in the middle of that circle, okay? And I'm going to push it through, but again, you got to be super careful. If you are using embroidery floss, don't make that circle very big because it slips back through and it kind of makes it hard because, let me close those up, because as you can see, it's so narrow that if you make this center hole, it's going to pop right back out. The yarn will be a little bit better in that hole because it's thicker. Okay, so we have a hole. I may have to make that just a little bit bigger because I'm not sure. You know what, I'm just going to use this pin because that'll be better than trying to get those scissors in there again. Haha, there we go. All right, so now we have our 7 pieces of yarn, and it's not a real precise science. You're going to want to kind of know how big the wrist is that you're making it for. So I kind of like to have them about twice as long as you're going to want it. So you're going to want it kind of loose so you can get it on and off, because otherwise you'll tie it on there and you're not going to be able to get it off. So about twice as long as the distance around your wrist. And then you'll cut 7 of those. Like I said, I used 3 different colors. But you can use 2, you can make it all the same color, you could make each of these pieces a different color, and that would all be fine. Just need a total of 7. I'm going to kind of line them up so that all the ends are the same, at the same point, kind of. And one more, there we go. All right, So you clump them all together, and then you're going to tie a knot in that. And that's pretty easy. I mean, you're just kind of looping it and pulling it through. All of them together. So you want them all like it was just one string. So you're going to keep them all together and tighten that up. There we go. So it's nice and tight, okay? And now we're going to poke this through the hole in our cardboard. You can do it. My knot got kind of big, so I'm not sure I can get it through that hole. Maybe I'll just make the hole bigger so that I can get the knot through. Let's do that. Ha! Now I can get that knot through there, she said with confidence. That was perhaps unjustified. Aha! Got it. Okay, so, and now you can see if I pull on it, it stays, which is good. Okay, so now you're going to take each one of these strands and just kind of put it through one of those slits. And I like to kind of vary the colors so that they're spread out a little bit. If you're doing different colors, then you can spread them out and it'll make a little bit different pattern. But it doesn't really matter. You can do it however you want. And you're going to get those in there, and then you're going to see that there's one empty spot because there are 8 slits, but only 7 pieces of string. So this is the part where you start weaving it. So you're going to start at that bottom, at the empty one, and you're going to count to the 3rd one. So start here. 1, 2, 3 is that yellow one right there. So I'm going to pull that out of the slit and move it to that empty one. Okay? And now I'm going to turn it, so I'm starting at this new one, because now this is the empty one. 1, 2, 3, move it down. 1, 2, 3, and move it down. 2, and move it down. So you just keep doing that over and over, and as long as you have a knot that isn't coming back through the hole, you don't have to worry about that. When I did the embroidery floss one, it kept coming back up through that hole, so I taped it for a little bit just so that it would stay while I was getting it started. I don't have to do that with this yarn because the knot is so much bigger. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I will show you this, and you may have noticed it earlier. When I was moving these around, these got a little bit tangled because they were so long, and so all you have to do is kind of like you're combing them. Just put your fingers through there. You don't want to wait too long on that because they'll get really tangled and you'll end up with a big knot down here. So every couple of times, just kind of string them through like that and it will work out fine. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'll show you then. I'll get it to some length so that I can show you what it looks like as you're weaving it. I probably won't get it long enough to make an actual bracelet. Just so that I can get through it and then show you how to end it. It's super easy. So anyway, 1, 2, 3. And the nice thing here is I stopped and talked and I wasn't paying any attention, but you've still got that empty one, so you know where you were. As long as you're going the same direction around it the whole time, you don't have to worry about it. You can put it down, go have lunch, come back, and start again. So it's no problem that way. See, they got tangled just a little bit, but they came untangled pretty easily. And then every now and then kind of just give that a tug just to tighten it up. But you can see it's super duper easy. You know, it's not a real complicated thing, but they turn out really, they look like they were complicated, which is cool because then people will be like, wow, you made that? That's so awesome. Got tangled again. I'm going to pull that. Yeah, I'm going to go just a little bit longer just so that we have some length on that. All right, well that's not nearly as long as I would want it, but it's long enough that you can see that the pattern is there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just tie that off. So you're going to just pull all of these back off and keep them all together. And you don't want to really let them go because it'll start to unravel on you. But it takes some doing to get it unraveled. So okay, so now I have those all together, and this is really long, so it would be a lot easier if I had made it to the length that I would want it. But you're just going to knot it again. You're just going to tie a knot in that end of it with all of them together, and it's easiest if you kind of can use the part that you've already woven together, and just do that and tighten it up. And there you go, and now it's nice and tight, and you've got, well, I don't have a bracelet, but earlier I did have a bracelet, and you've got it, and it's, you just trim these off. I didn't get that done when I was making this one earlier, so you'll just trim those off to a shorter size. You don't want to do it right up against that knot because it'll start to unravel, and you don't want that at all. But those kind of are fun too, having a little tassel on them. And then they just tie around your wrist. You know, mom or dad can help you tie those if you can't quite do it. It's kind of hard sometimes to tie them one-handed. But there you go. And they're pretty cool. And you know, you can make all different colors. You can make all different sizes. Like I said, the size of your yarn is going to make a difference. Your string is going to make a difference. So the embroidery floss is going to be a lot smaller than something like a nice thick yarn like I have here. If you use thinner yarn, you know, that will make it not quite as thick either. But you can make them, you know, super duper duper dainty. You can make them very manly. They're really pretty cool. So you can do all kinds of different stuff with them. I would love to see what you make. You know what, guys? I really do want to see the crafts that you make. I love seeing your projects. So be sure and tag us on Facebook with your pictures if you could take a picture of them. Remember that we are up to 2 story times per week this summer. So we have story times on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 10:30. The crafts are on Mondays. We also have family programs. We've got challenges that you can do. We've got a reading challenge, so I hope that you've found the information for that too. Great prizes. Keep doing those things. Make some crafts, make some bracelets for all your friends and family, and we'll see you next time. Bye.